Everyone, welcome back to KC 3D Sparks. Today we're going to be continuing with this washroom section in the inn. So last week we made the actual wash tub, which hopefully you guys enjoyed. So I thought it'd be cool to do like an indoor toilet. Or if you're interested, I'm also going to do an outdoor like latrine building, just in case if you don't want like an indoor toilet being an option. But so we're going to do two quick and easy builds for that real quick then. So basically I'm just hopping over to a new layer, and we'll want to make sure that your scene is set to whatever unit you want to work in. I'm going to be working in inches, and I changed the scale of my grid floor to 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to go into front view, do Shift A, and add in a cube for our indoor toilet. And we'll go ahead and change this to 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch. Perfect. So I'm going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to do Control R and just add a loop about right there. This is just going to be like the lip of it. So I'm going to switch to face select mode, do Alt right click to grab this loop of faces here, E to extrude, just escape out of that so it doesn't do anything, and then do S Shift Z so it sizes out in those two directions. I think that looks pretty good, just enough for a little bit of a lip to be there. And then we're just going to grab everything, do S Shift Z again, and size that back in so it's back to being in the 1 inch grid line. Obviously it's not perfectly 1 inch, but it's close enough. All right, so before we add in the actual toilet seat hole, I wanted to add in a couple lines for planks of wood to make it look like, you know, kind of just assembled in the similar manner that the wash tub was assembled in. So I'm just going to hop back into front view, do Control R, scroll up once so we get 2 lines here, or 2 loops, sorry. But you'll notice that it's angled at the edges, so we'll want to fix that. So we're going to do SX0, enter, Control right click, SX0, enter to fix those. And then you kind of want to size it up. So they might be a little bit moved, so you could always move them out a little bit more to fix the location of them, just if you want. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect unless you want it to be perfect. Now I'm also going to do 2 loops this way as well, because I'm going to have 2 planks of wood here on the side, so we don't want to forget about those. So we'll do SY0, enter, SY0, enter, and then of course you can maneuver them, oops, how you want. Kind of like that, looks probably pretty good. And then just like before, go ahead, scroll up so we get 2 loops here, and then we're going to do SX and size them to wherever you're comfortable. Add 1 loop this way, but we'll want to make sure it's straight. SX0, move it in wherever you want, Control R, SX0. Maybe move it a little closer. SY0, Control R, right there, and last one right there. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 loops to start off. However, I don't want the bottom edges selected, so I'm just going to get rid of those. And I'm going to go into top view and do S and Y and just bring them in to about there. You don't have to make it as dramatic, but I think that looks pretty good for what I want. Oops, I didn't mean to deselect that. For the top, I want to bring that down. So what I'll do is go into wireframe view, deselect these, just kidding, deselect those, and I'm gonna bring those down as well, about the same. I mean, obviously it's not perfect, but that works. And then for the sides, I want to go ahead and grab these two edges and of course the other side as well. So I'm going to hit Control 7 to go to the bottom view and do SX to pull those in. Just like that. Cool, so now it looks like we have all of that assembled. All right, so now that that's built, I want to do Shift A, mesh, and we're going to do a cylinder. I'm just going to leave it at the default 32 vertices and whatnot, and we're just going to size it down manually instead of trying to, be precise. Obviously, if you want to be precise, go for it, but I'm just going to kind of wing it here. I think about that side, maybe a little smaller. Bring it forward a little bit. That's probably good. Now what I want to do is just tab into edit mode for the cylinder. I'm going to switch to face select mode, and I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll do 4 faces. Going to go back into top view, hit E to extrude, and we're just going to pull those all the way out just like that. I'm going to go into front view, tab back into object mode, and we're going to line it up so that way it just surpasses these planks here. Just a little lip. All right, so we're going to right click on the box, go to the modifiers tab, add a modifier, Boolean, and we're going to do difference. Just grab your little eyedropper here and click on your cylinder. And to test it out before we apply it, I'm just going to hide the cylinder because it'll still show me the result. And actually, I think that works out pretty good. I like that. Obviously, you know, you can tweak it to wherever you like, but I think that works for what I'm going for. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Now, with the box selected, we'll go ahead and tab back into edit mode, and we're going to grab this face. Now, this part's pretty optional. I want to hollow out my toilet so that way it uses less plastic. So what I'll do is I'm going to hit E to extrude, and we're just going to pull that down a little bit and size it out. Switch to wireframe view, and we're going to hit E to extrude again and size that, still leaving a decent gap there so we still have a good amount of fill. E to extrude one more time, and we're going to pull that all the way down just like that. So now it's hollowed out. Awesome. And you can see that this part's popping through, so we don't want all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and undo what I did and resize it so it's not as big since we have this cut out here. Oh, it didn't pull those vertices in. Oops, let me fix that really quickly. That's interesting. Why isn't that working? There we go. There we go. All right, let me reselect this. Whoops. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and pull that back like that, hit E to extrude and pull that down. There we go. Now it's all fixed. Perfect. So now it's hollow. Obviously, for the actual toilets, it would be going to a hole in the ground, but for our miniature purposes, it's just going to look like that. So there's our indoor toilet. I'll go ahead and move that to our layer just so it's out of the way, but we'll just worry about resizing it. Actually, it should already be sized. And I'm just gonna delete our cylinder because I don't need that anymore either. So before we hop back to our main layer, let's make the latrine. So we're gonna do Shift A, and we're gonna add another cube. I want to do 1 inch, 1 inch, and for the Z, I'm gonna do 2 inches. We're just gonna tab into edit mode. Now, since I wanted to actually fill a square with the negative space inside of the latrine, what we're going to do is grab these and we're going to hit E to extrude. Just hit escape so it stays there. I'm going to go into top view and do S Shift Z so it doesn't size up. And we'll go about there for our wall thickness. And then we don't need these two faces anymore, so we can just hit X, delete those faces, and then we can fill those in. So let's go ahead and do this face, face. There might have been an easier way to do that now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm just gonna roll with it. All right, so we have our hollowed out shack latrine building. For the top, which actually I guess we could have left the roof on, but that's okay. What I want to do is go ahead and grab one of the faces. So let's see, I want to go into side view. So we'll grab this one and we're going to bring that up to give it an angled roof like that. So maybe about there looks pretty good. And then obviously I want to make it all the way angled. So I'll push this back down to match with that line there. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and grab this edge here and pull that up to match with that as well. Now I'm going to that face to face that off. And what we can do is grab all of those, hit E to extrude, hit escape. We'll just go into side view again. And we're going to pull that up a little bit, and then we'll grab that ring of faces, E to extrude again, hit escape, S Shift Z, and it's going to extrude or size out a little weird. We'll have to rotate it to fix it. We could have changed some other settings, but it was just faster to do it that way. Perfect. So one thing, because we added a couple different faces, we want to make sure our normals are still all facing the right directions. So to check our normals really quick, if you can't tell, yeah, this one, this top one right here is facing the wrong direction. So we'll want to go ahead and start, just hit spacebar, type in normals, and we're going to hit make normals consistent to flip that out. And make sure that that one, yeah, the one on the inside, perfect. Okay, because yeah, I could tell it was a little discolored, but sometimes it's hard to tell. So you can always just go over to your menu. If it's not open, you can hit the N key and then go to mesh display normals. I usually like the face one. It's the easiest for me to tell rather than like the vertices and stuff. So yeah. Okay, now that that's fixed, let's go ahead and do a door cutout. Obviously, I'm not going to make the door actually open and close. I'm just going to have like an imprint, and then I'll probably hollow out a little crescent moon type thing. So we'll do Control R. We're going to do 2 loops. Let's size them along the X. Should be more like that. Control R, 2 loops here. And we'll size those along the Z, and we'll pull that, whoops. I don't really need to worry about those, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and grab these 3 front ones, pull that down, and we'll want this higher. So we'll pull that to about there. Yeah, that should be pretty good. So to make the indent, what we'll do, just like the planks of wood with the toilet, we're going to do that, another one here, another one there, and don't forget the bottom of the door, just like that. Oh, I forgot one for the top of the door too. All right, so we'll go ahead and grab all of these edges that we need, which actually might be a little bit easier with the vertex select. Just like that. Oh, actually, I did not want these four. Sorry, did not mean to click those. I'm just going to go into side view, hit Z for wireframe, and we're going to pull that back to be about halfway in between our faces here. Cool. It's pretty dramatic of a cutout. It probably doesn't need to be as wide, but I'll just leave it for now. I think that will probably work pretty well. So we want to do a crescent moon cutout as well. So I'm going to do Shift A, and we're going to do probably a circle, I think would be best. We're just going to pull that circle over here and size it down a little bit to make it easier to work with. Tab into edit mode, and I'm just going to right click on this one vertex over here, go down to proportional editing and do connected, and scroll that wheel in. We're going to bring that back. I want it a little thick, maybe like that. Looks pretty good. And then we can fix it up a little bit. So I'm going to disable this and grab these to make it a little bit different. Grab everything. I'm just going to E to extrude, size it in a little bit, fix it. To get our face. That's pretty sloppy. I'm just going to go ahead and do F for fill. And then we're going to hit E to extrude. And we'll want to pull that up so it actually has all the normals, because you'll notice that was all darkened and shaded weird. We want to make sure it's the lighter shaded properly version. Now I'm going to hop into side view, hit R90. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. We can tab out of edit mode, R90. There we go. Now it's a little large. So we're going to do S, Shift Y, because the Y direction, I want it to stay kind of thick so we can do that Boolean modifier. Still a little large, so I'm going to do S, Shift Y. Maybe about that size. Actually, that's a pretty big cut. Let's do a little smaller. This could definitely be sharpened up a little bit. Let's see how adding a subdivision surface modifier treats it, which we're gonna go ahead and add a couple. Actually, no, we can just sharpen it. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. What the fuck did I just do? Sharpen it. No. All right. Now, obviously, you could fix up this, maybe try adding some subdivision surface modifiers or something to make it look a little bit better, but I think this is fine. So I'm just going to do Boolean difference, our little moon shape, and hit apply, which you could certainly test it out first if you were interested, but you'll notice that it went all the way through. So that's exactly what we wanted. Perfect. So we can just delete that. Don't need that anymore. And our latrine is done. Now, if you wanted, you could certainly go in and add the planks of wood, just like the toilet. But this is kind of all like, oh, I forgot a door handle. Might want a handle so you can get in the latrine. Let's do Control R. Just like that. SC, don't want it that. Maybe about there. Control R. It's adding loops a little weird since we added in that Boolean modifier, but that's okay. Let's pull this up. There we go. I just wanted to do E to extrude, go into top view, pull it out, Control R, and size that in. And then we can do a bevel to round it out a little bit. There. Oh, except I didn't want that to go along the Z-axis. Fix that. Okay, that's better. Anyway, what I was saying was you could certainly add in the planks of wood if you're interested, but I'm happy with the way it is. I'm just going to go ahead and move that to the first layer, and let's see how it looks compared to the building. And we could also place our toilet as well. So I'm going to move this just over here, and toilet is hard to see because of all the gray. I'll have to color that in. We're just going to move that about there. And then we want to move that up to be on top of the floor. Move this up to match the ground level. Is that the right way? Yes. Perfect. Toilet's a little tall, so we might want that less than an inch. Actually, yeah, we probably want that a lot less than an inch. We'll probably want that at like half an inch now that I'm thinking about it. So let's do 0.5 inches. There we go. Maybe we want 0.75. I think that's what our chairs are. Yeah, that looks better. There we go. Perfect. So there are 2 different toilet options for you for your D&D campaign. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if you have any requests for the future. Hopefully you enjoyed this new video. Next couple weeks I'm going to be doing some Christmas themed videos, so stay tuned for those. Might even be doing a monster for one of them. Pretty exciting. So cool. Let me know if you guys have any questions or requests for the future. I really appreciate any feedback. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.